Toronto. VK on the beat. Check. I'm in Toronto where you wanna get the city love. I'm from Toronto where you wanna get the city love. I'm in Toronto like we wanna get the city love. My city love me back for my city love.
Welcome to episode 1673 of Toronto Mic'd. Proudly brought to you by Great Lakes Brewery, a fiercely independent craft brewery who believes in supporting communities, good times, and brewing amazing beer. Order online for free local home delivery in the GTA. Palma Pasta. Enjoy the taste of fresh, homemade Italian pasta and entrees from Palma Pasta in Mississauga and Oakville. Yes, we are open, an award-winning podcast hosted by FOTM Al Grego, Ferminaris, Silverwax.ca. Use promo code TorontoMike10 and save 10% at Silverwax.ca. RecycleMyElectronics.ca. Committing to our planet's future means properly recycling our electronics of the past. Building Toronto Skyline, a podcast and book from Nick Iones, sponsored by Fusion Corp Construction Management Inc. And Ridley Funeral Home, pillars of the community since 1921. Joining me today to talk all about K-tel is Samantha Kivas. Welcome, Samantha.
Thank you so much for having me today.
How many people nail the pronunciation of your surname? I did that perfectly, right?
You
Kivas.
actually did, and I was actually going to say that because it's like I've heard every iteration of it. I get Kives a lot.
Kives was my natural instinct. It's Kives, and then I did a little research.
Yes, no, you nailed it.
Okay.
So we're off to a good start.
Off to a good start. I got to give some mad love to a listener named Carlo. So Carlo, and I don't know if Carlo was a friend of a friend, or I don't remember how this went down. Do you remember, how did Carlo connect us? Do you have any memory of this?
Yes. So Carlo is a big fan.
Of you?
Of yours.
Oh, I was going to say, of Samantha
yours.
Kivas.
Of yours and your show and your podcast.
What a sweetheart.
He is friends with a person I know named Adam, and his daughter, Adam's daughter, was in the Mini Pop Kids. She was a Mini Pop for like 4 or 5 years.
Oh my God.
She was one of my favorite Mini Pops, honestly, of all time. Such a talented kid. Her name's Abby Borgatti, if you guys want to check her out on Instagram.
That's a cool name.
Yeah.
We're going to get to Mini. So there's going to be a Mini Pops segment for the Mini Pops heads out there. I was one. I'm going to play you I had Mini Pops vinyl from K-tel. We're going to go back with the story, and then I have a fun parody segment at the end. But how does one become a Mini Pop kid? Because I have a 9-year-old who sings up a storm and has a very unique, interesting voice. I'm wondering how one becomes a Mini Pop kid.
That's exactly what we want. So every year we have auditions. You can just go to the website, minipopkids.com, and kids just submit a video, and then we will have auditions. And usually we have one cycle where we take kids in, but sometimes if a kid sends in a video and they're just incredible, we'll just bring them in the middle of the season.
And is the recordings, are they done in Toronto?
Everything is done in Toronto. So most of the kids are...
How convenient for my daughter. She lives in Toronto.
I love it. If she loves to sing and dance, we want to see her for sure.
Okay, and she's a cutie pie too, but I'm a proud papa here. But okay, but to wrap up the Carlo,
yes.
Before we tell the people, who are you? Why is Samantha Kivas my special guest for the K-tel episode? Carlo, big thanks to you. He had the idea for this ep. Carlo was kind of like the executive producer of this episode of Toronto Mic'd. This was his idea. He pitched it to me, and I said, Carlo, you know Toronto Mic'd. That is an episode I would love to do, and I couldn't believe we landed the great Samantha Kivas. So Samantha, who the heck are you?
Well, I don't know if I'm the great one, but my father is the one that founded K-tel Records. And at one point, K-tel was the largest independent music label in the world. They were really the king of the compilations. And they were the king of the compilations, and they really revolutionized the way music was sold through their style of advertising commercials. And some people call them the Spotify of the 70s.
That's great. So I did pull a bunch of ads and different clips and stuff. So I'm going to kind of load this episode with this good stuff as we walk through it. So your father was Philip Kivas.
Yes, my father is Philip Kivas.
And Philip Kivas is the founder of K-tel. So you're the daughter of the founder of K-tel.
Yes.
And K-tel, of course, founded in Winnipeg, Manitoba. Am I right?
That's correct.
Okay, I did my homework. We're going to walk through it, but just to give it to set the table a little bit, let's just listen to something. A little crackle, because it's vinyl, so it's going to crackle.
K-tel presents the 25 greatest hits of Sesame Street.
Greetings, Kermit the Frog here.
Yes, all Sesame Street's favorite characters together on one delightful album.
Oh, I love trash.
Kids love the Cookie Monster.
Is for cookie. That's good enough for me.
Laugh along with Ernie and Bert.
Rubber ducky, you're the one. You make bath time.
It's
like
fun
the
to count.
1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. That's the song of the count.
Grover is here too.
Over the horsey, under the bed, through my door.
And everyone's favorite,
Abkadefki, Jekyll, and Awkward to it there.
the 25 greatest hits of Sesame Street is a delightful album. And it's educational too.
So I actually played the wrong one, so I don't have the full title here. I was going to build to that because that's my Sesame Street. Those are my boys, okay? I love that. But I was actually meaning to play a different clip, and then we'll get back to the origin story. But
Okay.
This is what I meant to play.
New from K-tel Records, 22 explosive hits, 22 original stars, gallery.
Oh, it's so nice to be with you.
The great Sammy Davis Jr.,
Oh, the Candyman can.
Olivia Newton-John,
If not for you,
Hamilton, Joe, Frank, and Reynolds,
Don't pour your love out on me.
Derek and the Dominoes' big hit, Layla. Osmonds, Detroit Emeralds, Millie Jackson, Flash, April Wine, Charlotte's, Pop Tops, Fortune.
Here comes that rainy day feeling again.
Joe Simon,
Got power in your kiss.
Lobo,
Possible man.
Hot Butters, Popcorn,
There you go.
and many more. Get K-tel's 22 explosive hits now. 22 original stars and one great stereo LP. Only $3.99.
Okay, there's a little taste, okay? If you're of a certain age, you owned several K-tel records.
Yes, that would be correct. I was at the gym yesterday, and I was wearing a K-tel T-shirt, which is
Oh my God, I would do anything for a K-tel
don't
t-shirt.
worry, one will be coming.
Is that right?
Yes,
Oh my
and
God.
then yeah, and she was like, literally, we were at the gym, and she mentioned, she's like, I had this, and this record. People just list the records they had that changed their lives.
Because you got so many songs. 22, that one's celebrating, 22 explosive hits. That's a lot of songs for one piece of vinyl.
Yes.
Like, okay, so I need the origin. I'm diving in with all these questions, but can you set the table a little bit?
Yeah.
Like, tell me a bit about who was your dad when he founded K-tel and a little bit of the origin story.
I will absolutely. Like, I hope I do his story well because it's a really remarkable story.
Yes.
He was born in rural Saskatchewan in 1929, and his family was from Eastern Europe. No one spoke English. He was born the year they arrived. He grew up in a one-room farmhouse in Saskatchewan. So, they were very, very poor. And then at the age of 8, he started his first business.
8.
At 8.
Selling lemonade.
No, he sold they sold fur traps.
Okay. Okay.
So
Shout out to the Hudson Bay.
totally.
company.
So basically I think there was like too many rodents. So the government would give you little bits of money for every gopher tail that they collected. So he would collect all of the gopher tails from other kids and then bring it to the government to get paid. So that was his first. So he was an entrepreneur right from the start.
That's so smart.
Yes.
Goodness, what's the going rate for I don't know if I got a raccoon pelt or something?
I think it was like 5 cents.
5. Well, you know what?
Yes, but
that was-
that's a big deal. 5 cents back then.
Sure, absolutely. Okay, so he's an entrepreneur at 8 years old. Okay.
Yes. And then when he left the farm, he did all sorts of odd jobs. He was driving taxis. He was a short order cook. He has a funny story how he was, a terrible short order cook because he would spill the food, etc. And then he became a door-to-door salesman. And that is where he excelled. He was going from door to door and he realized he was an excellent salesperson. Fast forward a few years, the next thing you know, he's on the Atlantic City boardwalk next to Ed McMahon.
Hey-o.
Exactly. And he's pitching products. And that is where he really started honing his craft in the commercials that people used to see and still see today. And so when he was there, he just was, how can I get to a bigger audience? Because he was pitching products and he was doing it all, but he just needed a bigger audience because he was being so successful.
Right.
So that's when he went back to Winnipeg, got TV time, and is credited with doing the very first infomercial.
Okay. Do you remember what product?
Yes, it was this is a funny story. So two things. So first of all, it was a Teflon coated frying pan.
Okay.
And so the retailers would not, he wanted to get it into the retailers before he went to the TV stations. They said no. So he went on TV anyways with this frying pan. And then people started going to Eaton's and all the department stores saying, where can I get this frying pan?
Right.
And then so the retailers had no choice but to take the frying pan. And so that's how he got into the stores, and he had lifelong friendships with these buyers at Eaton's and all the other department stores.
Some people are just born with this entrepreneurial spirit. Even at 8 years old, what he's out doing, and of course it leads to this, and that's amazing.
Yes, absolutely. So that's sort of how the whole thing happened. And the funny part about the story is the fact that, and this just shows you what an entrepreneur he was, and failure didn't matter to him. Unfortunately, that Teflon was brand new back then in 1962.
Right.
So the Teflon literally came off with the eggs. And so there was a lot of returns, but
that's awful.
But that didn't he didn't focus on that. He focused on the fact that he cracked something. He's like, this is how I sell products. Okay, so maybe this isn't the product I need to sell. I need to find better, more high quality products. And so that's sort of how the whole thing started.
You and I make a great team, Samantha, if you ever want to go on the road telling the story of K-tel, because now I want to play an ad. People might remember this.
Introducing Popeil's amazing Vegematic 2. New improved cutting rings make food cutting easier than ever. Saves you time by slicing whole potatoes in only one stroke. Turns whole onions into zesty thin slices for delicious hamburgers. Slices mushrooms, tasty juliennes from sliced carrots. Turn the dial, slices are automatically thicker. Dial from slice to dice, fast, easy, and sliced onions become diced by the panful. Dice carrots. One stroke dices celery. Over 11 million original Vegematics sold. They must be good. Vegematic 2 now available at only $9.95. Imagine Vegematic 2 also can slice a whole, firm, unripened tomato in just one stroke.
Wow.
Or make everybody's favorite, golden French fries.
Oh my God.
Hundreds in just minutes. Popeil's improved Vegematic 2, a great gift idea. Only $9.95.
Okay, that's the Vegematic 2, but before the Vegematic 2, you get the Vegematic 1,
Yes.
And then the Dial-O-Matic. But tell me a bit about, this other name that I see popping up all the time, Ronco.
Yes. So it's you could not have set this up better, because this is what
I'm a professional,
you,
Samantha.
honestly, you've done your homework.
That's why
Very
Carlo
impressive.
loves this show.
So that's where my father used to get his products from. He used to get it from Ron Popeil,
Right.
who had the company Ronco down in the States. So Ron Popeil would have products. My father would buy those products and bring them to Canada and sell them throughout Canada. And so that's what he did in the early 60s. But then it got to a point where Ron said, Phil, you're getting too big. I'm not supplying you with products anymore. And so that's what led him into the music industry. He's like, okay, I need to find a new product.
And that's the origin story for me. I'm keeping an eye on the live stream because we're live and I shared there's a WhatsApp group for some of the FOTMs who come to these TMLX events, which is a great opportunity. I'm also a natural born entrepreneur. I need to tell you, Samantha, that on June 26th, a few months from now, June 26, 2025, from 6 to 9 p.m., FOTMs, that means Friends of Toronto Mike, you are now an FOTM.
Oh, I'm so excited. Thank you.
And there's more gifts coming, but we're all going to collect at Great Lakes Brewery, which is 30 Queen Elizabeth Boulevard, down the street from the Costco in southern Etobicoke. We're all going to collect, and we're going to get your first Great Lakes beer, fresh craft beer, is going to be on the house. I'm sending you home with some cans of fresh craft beer from Great Lakes Brewery. Your father would be proud of this pitch I'm doing here. Also, we'll be fed by Palma Pasta. They're in Mississauga and Oakville. But I do have in my freezer upstairs for you, Samantha, I have a large lasagna for you from Palma Pasta. I know you got a bunch of kids like I do. This is a great way to feed the family. That's for you.
Perfect. Carlo told me about that, which, yes, he did ahead of time. So that's very exciting.
You were tipped off.
Yes,
You'd be taking
that
care
was
of
what,
here.
like, put me over the line.
So everybody is invited, if that wasn't clear. A free event. Just come by. 6 to 9 p.m., June 26th. Samantha, it would be amazing if you showed up. You could probably meet future Mini Pops singer Morgan, who's going to be there. She's 9 years old.
Well, you'll have to come to our concert for sure. Then.
Well, okay. When is the concert?
It's on May 3rd, but we can talk about that later.
We will talk about it, but where is it on May 3rd?
It's at the Queen Elizabeth Theatre on May 3rd at 1 p.m. It's really the ultimate family-friendly experience. So I'm excited to see you and Morgan there.
Okay, what perfect timing to get you down here. So we will later dive into what exactly we can expect on May 3rd, and we are going to have a segment of this conversation which is committed to the Mini Pops experience from the past and the present, what it looks like today. So we're going to talk a lot of Mini Pops. Just popping into the live stream to say Tobias Vaughn is talking about buying his K-tel records at the Jane Finch Mall. A lot of like nostalgia, right? So Andrew Ward is talking about buying his K-tel records at Towers because you got 30 songs per record. So we'll get into the 30 songs per record. That's amazing, right? Cramming all those songs on a piece of vinyl, right?
Yeah.
Andy is talking about still keeping all of her beloved Mini Pops vinyl. She's still got them all. By the way, 5'4" was the answer. I didn't check in earlier, but I asked aloud, and it might have been before the recording. In fact, it was. I asked you, what's the average age of a woman in North America in 2025? And it's 5'4". That's before I started recording. So people are like, what the hell does that have to do with anything? You'll never know. You got to come to the live stream. Just to wrap this up real quick here is Andy was obsessed with paid programming in Ron Pompeo when she was a kid. She wanted the food hydrator to make her own fruit roll-ups and beef jerky. So a lot of nostalgia when it comes to K-tel. But tell me about K-tel entering the world of music.
Yeah. So as I mentioned, Ron Popeil cut my father off. So he needed a new product. And so he's like, I'll try a record. And to him, it wasn't necessarily selling music, but it was like another product he could sell.
Right.
So he tried, I think it was first a country album and with a Bobby Darin giveaway. And then I think the second album he tried was a 25 polka hits album, which sold 1.5 million copies. And after that, K-tel was officially in the music business, and it's been in the music business ever since.
Okay, on that note, another, because 26 songs on this one, and there's some honky-tonk greats. I'm not sure if this is the country album, but you'll let me know on the other side. Let's listen.
Remember the hayride and your chance to sing along to great old tunes like Harvest Moon? Now, K-tel Records bring you 26 great sing-along tunes, a great stereo LP, plus a free songbook with Bill Bailey. Yellow Rose of Texas. Piano Roll Blues and many more. 12th Street Rag, Sam Song, Glowworm, Dixie. Sing along to music, music, music. Down Yonder.
Down yonder, someone's laughing to me.
Four-Leaf Clover. 26 sing-along honky-tonk favorites by Johnny Maddox, Joanne Castle, Del Wood, Joe Fingers Carr. Get 26 sing-along honky-tonk greats, plus a free songbook from K-tel.
Honky-tonk greats. Wow. Okay,
Yes.
those ads are amazing too.
Yeah, they were like totally fun. And my dad literally wrote the commercials. He would shoot the commercials. He would direct the commercials, like that for the music products, and then for like the consumer products, because that's really a lot of his passion as well. Like he just always wanted to bring good value to people. Like we would literally have them shot in our kitchen at home.
Who's doing the voiceovers? Any idea? Like these are big voices.
Yes. There was the voice. I can't remember the gentleman's name, but he was out of Vancouver, BC. He's since passed, but it was like the same voice for like so many years, and I'm sorry that his name escaped me.
No, that's okay. Now, one of the things, I mean, just technically speaking, if you're going to cram like 30 songs on one piece of vinyl, you're going to have to sacrifice some like audio fidelity, right?
I think so. Apparently, I think
we can talk. This is the real talk for K-tel. Is that if you go back and listen to your K-tel albums, you might notice that the fidelity is not as strong as you might desire, because you have to make sacrifices to fit all those songs on one album.
Yes, exactly. So it's like, it's volume, what is it? Quantity versus quality.
Right. This is a good example. Quantity over quality. And, at that time, you heard your music on AM radio. Okay. So if you're getting your music on AM radio, which has awful fidelity itself, you won't notice that this won't sound as good as maybe that Pink Floyd album that you buy from whatever label has Pink Floyd.
Yes. No, for sure. I mean, I think that's what people always say, or sometimes the songs might have been cut off a tiny little bit.
Oh, that's another thing. Right. So they might fade out early.
Listen, that's what I've heard. Like, I sort of miss this generation because I was born a little late.
Yeah.
But yeah, so those are some of the things I heard. But in the same breath, you also hear that like when Dave Grohl gave his South by Southwest, his keynote speech, and he said what his biggest music influences were, what he talked about K-tel exposing him to, I think it was Frankenstein.
Yeah. Edgar Winter and that group. Now that's a great point, is that pre-internet, this is way pre-internet, but also pre-cassette tape dubbing, okay? This is a line to me, and I got a few years on you, but I can tell you there was a moment in time when you realized you can make your own mixtapes. So before that period, which is like, I don't know, mid-'80s, early 80s, around there, but before this, the 1980s period where people started making their own mixtapes, there's no internet, there's no way to make your own mixtapes. If you could go out and buy one album with like a variety of hits, and they were all like these super hits series, I guess you call them, or dynamic hits or number one hits. Yeah, it exposed a lot of people to different genres, different artists, and you might hear a song on one of those things, and you might then go buy the album from that artist because you're like, I like how that sounds.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's so many artists that they said that like what influenced them or what got them into music or what exposed them to music was a K-tel record. Funny story, so I ran into Randy Bachman at Canadian Music Week one year.
FOTM Randy Bachman?
Yeah, so I'm from Winnipeg, right? So for me, it was like I was just like totally starstruck.
Yeah.
So I had to go up to him. I think the Jets were doing really well that year as well, and just introduce myself.
And they're doing well this year, by the way.
Oh my God, I know.
I think they won the President's Trophy, best regular season record. So we'll see.
Yeah. That's another That's another conversation.
Shout out to the late great Dale Hawerchuk. I thought he was sensational, but he always ended up going up against the Gretzky, Messier, Curry Oilers.
Yeah.
Unfortunate timing for his career.
Yes. Well, again, I'm probably the wrong person to speak about hockey.
All right. Well, shout out to Teemu Selanne too while we're at it. Okay.
That's true. Yeah. He was Rookie of the Year for Winnipeg.
Yeah. I think that season, I'm trying to remember now, but he had did he have 70 goals? Something like he had an unbelievable number of goals.
And I think that was the year Winnipeg lost their team to Phoenix.
Shortly thereafter, I think he had a few years
I think
there.
that was like the last year or something like that.
Oh, you got it back though. The Thrashers, right? You got the Thrashers out of Atlanta.
Yes. Thank God. That team loves their team. Like, they love their team.
We need a team in Winnipeg. Next stop, Quebec City. I think we need to get a team back in Quebec City.
That would be awesome.
Okay, we'll work on it. Maybe K-tel will own this team.
Well, we'll see. Maybe we'll work on that together. We can work on that together.
TMDS and K-tel will combine our funds and see if we can buy a franchise in the NHL.
Yeah.
Okay, so this, again, we can't even illustrate enough how, you mentioned the Dave Grohl quote, but when we talk to people about K-tel, these super hit compilations, I'm going to play another ad because I'm not going to waste any of these ads. Hopefully, this is like a super hits. Here we go.
Super Hits and the Superstars, a great new double album from K-tel. Original hits, original stars, Bachman, Turner, Overdrive.
Baby,
Randy.
Gladys Knight and the Pips.
On that midnight train to Georgia.
Superstar Elton John.
That's a good one.
Phoebe Snow.
You're the poetry man. You make things alright.
Blackbird.
I'm walking in rhythm.
Barry Manilow.
It's a miracle.
Van McCoy. Hot Chocolate. Steelers Wheel. Billy Preston. Golden Earring. Reunion and Paper Lace.
The night Chicago died.
Hughes Corporation.
Rock the boat, don't rock the boat, baby. Rock the boat.
Sugarloaf.
Don't call us, child, we'll call you.
Get Super Hits and the Superstars, a great 2-record set, $7.99 from K-tel. Tapes $9.99.
That's amazing, Samantha.
Yeah. There's so many crazy stories when I hear that. Like, so many things flash through my head. But just to finish up that Randy Bachman story.
Right, I'm sorry. Yeah, well, at least we got to hear some Randy Bachman.
I know, but like, so when I ran into him, because he's, to me, he's like just the best.
Right.
He's like, yeah, you made it when you were on a K-tel record, on a K-tel compilation. That's how you knew you made it as a band. And I was like, that was very, very overwhelming.
I remember when I chatted with Randy talking about how Winnipeg always punched above its weight with music.
Yeah.
Like it's for the size of that city, the world famous music that came out of Winnipeg. Wow.
Yeah. And he was a massive part of it.
And how long have you been in Toronto now?
Oh, since 2004. So I've been here a while.
Okay, but you were in Winnipeg when the Watchmen were breaking.
Oh yeah, I remember going to see the Watchmen, for sure.
Okay, still love the Watchmen. We should go together, see a Watchmen show.
I know they still play every now and then.
Of course they do. Yeah. I mean, now they all have other gigs, but they do get together for a few gigs.
Yeah, no, they're
every
great.
year.
They're absolutely great.
Big Watchmen fan here. Okay, so I'm going to play another ad because I don't want to actually end this episode and not have played all my stuff I pulled here.
Okay,
so we're
great.
going somewhere here.
Remember the hayride and your chance to sing along to great old tunes like Harvest Moon?
Oh, did I play
Now,
this one?
K-tel Records bring you
All right, I played that one. We're going to play a
it.
different one here. Come on, Mike. Get your act together here. Here we go. Play something else.
K-tel presents Blockbuster, a great new LP, 20 original hits, original stars, KC and the Sunshine Band. Silver Convention. War. Leon Haywood. Avery Whiteman.
Good album.
Alice Cooper.
Yeah.
Edgar Wintergruth. Sammy John.
This is the Dave
Fox,
Grohl one.
Gladys Knight,
Yes.
Frankie
For sure.
Valli, and many more. David Geddes. The Hollies.
Shout out to Radiohead.
Blockbuster. 20 original hits, original stars. Be sure to get the best from K-tel. LP $5.99, tape $6.99.
Doesn't get better than that.
Honestly, when that guy's saying he wants to get freaky with you, what is he talking about, Samantha?
Listen, I don't know. Again, before my time.
Also, yeah, we don't want the Mini Pops listeners to hear anything like that. Okay,
I think we're safe.
So that's a good point. We're very safe here. It's a safe space. No Mini Pops listeners, except for us retro Mini Pops, which we'll get to in a moment here. So music, all that great record selection, but it was more than just music, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. It was more than just music. It was also consumer products as well. And so, as you mentioned, there was the Patty Stacker, there was the Vegematic.
Okay, you mentioned so Patty Stacker. What is that again? That's meat?
Yes, it's to make the perfect hamburger.
Okay. I only eat palma pasta around here. Okay, sorry. Continue, because when you said stacker, my brain thought of stacking something else, but not meat.
No, it was like to make the perfect hamburgers. Okay. And then I think his best-selling product ever was the Miracle Brush. And he did that when he was just founding K-tel. I think they sold over 20 million Miracle Brushes worldwide. And he started that in Australia. And basically he went to Australia, never been there before, tried that whole thing with the TV. He used the girls at the front desk of his hotel to take the orders. And he was doing incredibly well there. He probably would have stayed in Australia. Unfortunately, his father got sick, so he came back to Canada, which is why K-tel started in Canada. But it's just like these products that he always says he sold products that people didn't know they needed.
Right. Okay, well, here's another product people probably didn't know they needed. Let's play this.
Are you fed up with constantly searching for the records you want? Are you tired and frustrated from always straightening out your LPs?
Yes.
Now with K-tel Record Selector, this will never happen again. To choose your favorite music, tilt the first record forward. The others follow automatically. Pick your selection when it appears. To choose more LPs, lean the next record forward and wait for your choice. The Record Selector is a new space-age design for selection and storage of records. Fingertip control regulates the speed of Record Selector. To replace the records, tilt the first record forward. Record Selector, with a mind of its own, will automatically stop where the LP was taken from. End awkward selection and storage of LPs with Record Selector. Attractively finished in a gift box. K-tel Record Selector, only $3.99.
Okay, I didn't know I needed it, but amazing.
I have one of those at home.
Okay.
Yes.
It still functions?
It still functions.
Good products from K-tel.
Yes.
Okay. All right, so anything else we should know about this the glory years of K-tel, I suppose? These record compilations, very, very important to teenagers and young people seeking ownership of the music that they'd hear on their AM radios.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think we've talked about so much. Like it really, again, this was before my time, but it really had this significant impact on so many people. And it, at one point, I think it was in the UK, it had the number 1, 3, and 4 album on the Billboard hits. I think the number 2 album could have been a Beatles album.
Right.
Like it's just, it really had this crazy impact, and it all came from Canada, and it all, originated out of Winnipeg.
Amazing. Now we're going to do a whole segment on mini pops.
Okay.
Maybe we introduce, so before we find out what happened to K-tel, because it wasn't all, wine and roses.
No.
With K-tel. So we will wrap up the K-tel story and talk about what K-tel is up to now, but I think Mini Pops is a good way to kind of get there. So I will share a bit of my personal journey with Mini Pops and play some choice Mini Pops ads and jams here. But first, I would like to just give you a couple more gifts, because apparently a t-shirt, so you're telling me you're not BSing me here. A K-tel t-shirt, I will get a K-tel t-shirt?
We're going to launch a store soon, and then as soon as we get them, you will be the first person that
a medium K-tel t-shirt will be, because I will wear them for the photos by Toronto Tree.
Okay.
Amazing. And I was going to say, Toronto Tree got its name from Dave Thomas, and that's a teaser, because later you'll hear some Dave Thomas as I get to the final segment of this K-tel deep dive. But really quickly here. Ridley, I know I'm pointing to this great swag on the table. So Ridley Funeral Home, who have a great podcast called Life's Undertaking. People should subscribe and listen to Brad Jones there. They sent over a measuring tape for you. So that's a measuring tape for you, Samantha.
Great.
Moneris sent over a wireless speaker, this brown box right there. And, you're from Winnipeg, but have you been to Regina, Saskatchewan?
Yeah, of course I've been to Regina.
I know, I say that like, of course you have.
My father's from Unger, Saskatchewan. Regina was the big city close by.
Okay, so that's the big city was Regina, and they got a CFL team and everything.
Yes.
In Regina. So why am I talking about Regina? I'm talking about Regina because Al Grego went to Regina and spoke with small business owners, and this is all heard in season 8 of Yes, We Are Open. And I took a note on the most recent episode because, of course, it was very, very good. And the most recent episode, how quickly can I find this? Let's see here. Dun, dun, dun. Sing a song for me from K-tel. Okay. Ashley Donald. She's the owner of Basket Cases, a prominent gift basket store in Regina. And Ashley shares her inspiring journey of buying and running the business, discussing her origins, struggles, and future outlook. Discover how she transformed from a dedicated customer to the chief basket case herself, navigating the challenges of pandemic, inflation, and marketing while also maintaining a strong community spirit. So you're going to listen to season 8 of Yes, We Are Open with your new wireless speaker.
Oh, great.
You got some instructions here, Samantha. Okay, you didn't know. I have to give you some instructions too. Do you enjoy driving a nice, clean car?
Yes. But with 4 kids, that's challenging.
Okay, whoa, my goodness. It's challenging, but it's only a hassle if you make it one. That's how they feel at Silver Wax. Silver Wax makes pro-grade auto care and cleaning technology easy for everyone to use. They have kits for beginners, experts, or professionals. Everything you need, Samantha. Go to silverwax.ca. Use the promo code TorontoMike10. That's TorontoMike10. You save 10% if you do that, and it helps the show. Carlo, I'm talking to you. You love the show, love your car. Get some good product from Silver Wax. Use my promo code. They've been Canadian since 1999 at Silver Wax. But Samantha, no joke. You see the giant bucket under the Palma pasta box? There's a big bucket. And these 2 spray bottles?
Yes.
Okay, I feel like Ron Pompey right now. This is Mike Co., not Ron Co. That's a robust kit that'll clean the interior and exterior of your car. I'm telling you, you're going to have a spotless automobile with this Silver Wax kit.
Oh my God, Silver Wax is the best.
This is worth more than one t-shirt now that I think about it, Samantha. There's a lot of swag going home with you today. One more piece of advice. RecycleMyElectronics.ca, because that's where you go if you have old electronics, old cables, old devices. You don't throw that in the garbage. The chemicals will end up in our landfill. Go to RecycleMyElectronics.ca. Put in your postal code and then find out where to drop it off to be properly recycled. And much love to Nick Iones from Fusion Corp. His podcast is called Building Toronto Skyline. The most recent episode is with a gentleman who helped to build the CN Tower 50 years ago. And we talk about the CN Tower at 50, what it meant, what it means now. And I actually enjoyed this chat with this gentleman. His name is Jack Mesley. And I thought it was so great. I actually told him, we need you on Toronto Mike. So I will be chatting with Jack Mesley at some point soon, all about the CN Tower. But I only learned about Jack because Nick chatted with him on building Toronto's skyline. Okay, my personal Mini Pops story. You ready, Samantha?
Yes.
I got a Mini Pops album as a kid, and I loved it. And I just loved it. So I actually went to YouTube and I found, here's the actual Mini Pops album I had. So I'm going to play a little bit of it while I tell you. But here is a jam I loved from the Mini Pops album. I owned it, played like crazy.
I'm going to guess it's Eye of the Tiger.
No.
This one.
Here it comes.
I heard you on the wireless back in 52, lying awake intently tuning in on you. If I was young, it didn't stop you coming through. They took the credit for your second symphony, rewritten by machine on new technology. And now I understand the problem you can see. I met your children. What did you tell them? Maybe I'll kill the radio star. Maybe I'll kill the radio star. Just came and broke your heart.
Wow. So Samantha, what can you tell us about the origin of Mini Pops from K-tel?
I have to just say, that is my all-time favorite Mini Pop song.
Is that true?
I swear.
Because that's
to
my
God.
all-time favorite Mini Pop
I swear to
song.
God.
Although there's a medley I was going to play a little bit of later that I loved because it's on the same album, but this was the jam.
No, this was my ultimate favorite one, and then Stupid Cupid was number 2. I'm not.
I'm actually freaking out here, Samantha. I only pulled. Okay, I didn't. As you can see, this is the soundboard, right? I'm
Yeah.
not going to YouTube or anything. The only other song I pulled from the damn thing because I loved it.
Stupid Cupid, you're a real mean guy. I'd like to clip your wings so you can't fly. I'm in love and it's a crying shame. And I know that you're the one to blame. Hey, hey, set me free. Woo! Stupid Cupid, stop picking on me.
So,
I can't do a whole
since I discovered
Okay.
Video Killed the Radio Star,
My 2 favorites.
yeah, you hear it everywhere in the wild. You learn all about it. Oh, it's the first song they played on MTV, etc., etc. But this song, Stupid Cupid, I never hear it in the wild. Like I think I only know this song, Stupid Cupid, from Mini Pops.
Yes.
You never hear it.
You want to hear the craziest thing? This song charted in France in 1983.
That is crazy.
Like it charted in France. I want to say it hit top 5 in France in 1983.
Not so crazy, right? Because remember that song, It's So Tough to Be a Baby. Oh, this, do you remember this?
No, I don't remember that one.
Okay, I gotta get the name of that. But there was like a kid who had a hit in France. Like he's a French kid. And I feel like the French, they like the kids singing.
Yes. Oh, no, it wasn't this one. It was Ebony and Ivory. Oh, no. It was this song.
Okay,
and it knocked,
you're the expert.
So this is crazy. This song you're hearing hit number 1 in France and knocked Ebony and Ivory off the charts. It knocked Paul McCartney and Michael Jackson off the charts.
Oh my God. Okay, there you go. K-tel going to number 1 in France.
Oh my God, yes.
Okay, so give me the origin story. I know. Let's wrap up my album. This was my album I played like crazy. But there was a novelty medley in this, okay?
Okay.
Where I still know the songs in the order. Like, you know what medleys are like?
Yeah.
You memorize the medley. So hold on. This kid must have smoked a pack a day. Listen to this voice.
Till that morning comes creeping.
He's colicky.
Green door, what's that secret you're keeping? There's the old piano and the plate, hot than the green door.
I'll bring it down to just say, and I'll bring it up in a minute, but Samantha, this is another song. I never hear this song in the wild, The Green Door. Like, I knew it from Mini Pops
Yes.
Behind the Green Door. Okay, mildly offensive, but big hit at the time. First time I heard this song was on Mini Pops. The Vapors. So I love this medley. Like, just give me all these songs, give me all the choruses or whatever, and let's go. So tell me about the origin of Mini Pops from K-tel.
I will tell you as much as I know. So it was formed out of the UK. It was a television program in the UK. I think it ran like 6 seasons or something along those lines, or 6 seasons. I think it had 6 episodes, and I remember seeing the videos as kids. And because it was music-based, K-tel, I guess, struck a deal to market the albums. And even though the show wasn't a success, K-tel, doing its K-tel magic behind the albums, like, made the Mini Pops a huge, huge hit, back in the 80s. I think in 1983, it was the number 3 best-selling album in Canada.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I that's because of me, I think.
Yes. Okay. And like, I loved it. I used to do air bands and dance routines and the works to the Mini Pops when I was a kid.
Okay, no shame in this, right? We're all young. We're digging these songs, these covers by kids. Were there any adult listeners?
Oh, I don't know.
And is that creepy?
I don't know. Listen.
Just the French.
It's, yes, clearly the French. Clearly in France there were.
All right. So yeah, there were a bunch of Mini Pop stuff. Like, so give me what you know about the history of Mini Pops and then what it's evolved to today.
Yeah, I mean, basically sort of what I just shared, that it was, a television program. It ran 1 season. I think at the time they dressed the kids up quite, what we would say inappropriate today. So there was
like John Benet Ramsey-esque.
I think it was a little bit like that. Like, there was too much makeup, too much whatever. Right. So that's why I don't.
Still big in the South in the U.S., I think. But,
that's again
that's another episode. Okay, you come back for
another podcast.
Come back for that part. Okay.
But then when K-tel got involved, they marketed the music, the audio portion of it, and then it just became a huge success. And then as more albums came on, K-tel kept marketing the albums, and then it sort of slowly died off in the 80s. And then in 2004, we sort of relaunched the Mini Pop Kids. We relaunched the Mini Pops as the Mini Pop Kids.
Okay, so so let me play. So now we're Mini Pops Kid. Why did we add the kids?
Because we couldn't get the URL Mini Pops, and we didn't realize that 20 years later we'd still be doing it. We thought it would probably be 1 year.
Got to bring all the good stuff back here.
Yes.
So I have an ad for us. You ready?
I'm.
Don't stop believing.
K-tel presents Mini Pop 6, 22 of today's greatest hits, recorded by the Mini Pop Kids.
'Cause if you like it, then you shoulda put a ring on it. If you like it, then you shoulda put a ring on it. Boom, 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 gotta get boom, 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 gotta get boom, 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 gotta get. So long story, baby, just say yes.
That's a big one.
Once the rain's down and out.
Toto coming back for Stu.
Baby, I can see your halo. You know you're my saving grace. They call me Jane.
Hit songs like The Climb, Poker Face, Battlefield, Goodbye, You Belong With Me, Circus, and many more.
To the left, stick it glide. So what? I'm still a rock star. I got my
K-tel Mini Pops, 22 hits, 2 CDs. Available at Walmart.
I can't help but smile when I hear that. That must have been like Mini Pop Kids 6 or something like that.
It is. It's 6.
Oh my God.
Good for you.
Look at that's impressive.
So what's your role with Mini Pops? Like, at what point? I'm just trying to understand when you sort of take over the Mini Pops world, the Mini Pop Kids.
Oh, I think I took over around Mini Pop Kids 9.
Okay.
It was in Winnipeg, and then the person that was producing it decided to sort of move on. And so I picked it up and brought it here in Toronto.
Okay. Because soon we're gonna not in all the gory detail, but just a little idea of like what happens to K-tel in the 80s, and then what happens in the 90s, and then how we get to where we are today. You want to do that now?
honestly, you just tell me and I'm happy to follow your lead. Whatever you prefer.
Well, it's that basically, so we talk about how it was incorporated in 1968, and then we talk about all these glory days and everything international with Europe and all this going on. Australia you talked about.
Yeah.
And then it was huge in the early 80s too. Like I'm just looking in the early 80s. And then, financially there were some difficulties at K-tel.
Yeah, I think they went into the oil business, which,
that's quite the diversification. Like
yeah, I think,
for K-tel.
and I think they hit like a bankruptcy and then they went in. And,
it's Chapter 11 bankruptcy
yes.
in 1984.
Yes.
And then in 1986, Bank of Montreal forecloses on the K-tel Canadian subsidiary. There's a U.S. Chapter 11 filing. So this is where you get into the old gory details. 1991, I guess, is when your dad gets his Canadian company back. So there's a period of time, I guess around mid-80s to 91, when K-tel, your dad's not controlling K-tel.
Yeah, so he didn't control. I guess I think they were fighting over the name K-tel,
right?
And so after that, again, I was I was sub 10, so I don't fully know the intricacies of everything that happened. From what I understand and what I know, is that I think someone shouldn't have foreclosed. Anyways, they fought for the name. He got the name back, but in that interim, when he didn't get the name, like that just sort of shows like my dad, he doesn't let things get him down.
Right.
Like just like the Teflon pan, he kept selling products. He just sold them under K5 Leisure Products. And then when he got the name back, he changed K5 Leisure Products to K-tel.
There you go.
Yeah. And so, he kept going on with the products, and then he also got the music catalog back.
Amazing.
So that's something we haven't talked about, is the fact that when he was creating all these compilations, in the 60s and 70s, etc., they also started creating their own music catalog. So they would buy, like we have the rights to, Sammy Smith's Help Me Make It Through the Night. That was like a Grammy-winning song. The Bobby Sherman catalog, sort of all those crazy things. And then those are all originals. And then, what Taylor Swift is doing now, making Taylor's versions, my dad was doing that back in the 70s.
So music licensing.
Yes. That I know a lot about.
So the music licensing, is this the core of what K-tel, obviously Mini Pop's kids, I feel like we got away from Mini Pop kids. So let me just, let me just play again. I don't want to, I pulled a bunch of these clips. I'm very excited to have you here, Samantha, and talk in K-tel, but I pulled this.
K-tel presents Mini Pop Kids 20 and the 20th Anniversary Celebration Tour. A non-stop pop party with today's biggest hits. Mini Pop Kids Live is the ultimate family-friendly experience. Get ready to sing, dance, and pop, where the fun never stops. MiniPopKids.com for our latest music and a show near you.
Is this the event you were telling me about earlier?
So
okay,
let's
no, dive into that
Mini
now.
Pop Kids. We'll focus there, and then I can tell you about more of what K-tel's doing today if you're interested.
And then, yes, I'm very interested. And then we'll close with the parodies I've collected.
Oh my God, I'm excited. Anyway, so we were talking about just a minute ago. So we brought the Mini Pop Kids back in 2004, and it's sort of the same concept, except it's very family friendly and it's very, very clean, where we take, like pop songs of the day and we have kids cover it and make it clean. So, today's music that is so inappropriate is now accessible to young kids.
So you'll alter the lyrics.
We alter the lyrics, absolutely. Like we've been able to do every single song. I think the only one that we really struggled and we just had to skip was Blurred Lines. Like there was just no way we could figure that one out.
So for example,
yes,
a very recent big hit for Chapel Roan,
yes,
is Good Luck Babe.
Yeah.
Now there you hear pops because the video, it's like got a kind of a neat little messaging thing going on here. So I pulled it from the video. But you'll take these current hits, and this is a pretty current hit.
It's very current.
Yeah. And these are very wholesome, family-friendly, children-friendly versions, and you can introduce kids to some content where maybe on Kiss 92.5, maybe it's got some suggestive sexual content or whatnot. All that's erased.
Yes, we clean that away. We wipe on, wipe off.
Sanitize it.
Yes, we sanitize it.
Right. You won't get any awkward questions from your kids when they ask, what does that mean?
No, and like the good part, the other thing we do is we make music videos as well. So if, like the kids can't watch the original videos, like we will create family friendly on our YouTube channel. We're almost at 1 million subscribers. And like, we did a music video to this song. We did a music video to APT.
My 9-year-old loves that song.
Yeah, it's a great song. Like our video's over 2 million views already, and it's only been up for 2 months. I think our Savage Love cover music video has over 20 million views. And so it's not only creating the audio, but we're really trying to create like a safe spot for kids to enjoy music. So whether it's on the YouTube channel or on Spotify or Amazon or at our live shows, which are such a blast.
And tell me about this one in May.
Oh my God. So it's exciting. So we're at the Queen Elizabeth Theatre in Toronto. I think we have a show in Hamilton the next day. And it's an hour and a half of pure joy. Like my favorite Instagram reel that I saw of a parent attending one of our concerts is they showed their kids' perspective of their kids just like jamming out, like little kiddie mosh pit at one of our shows. And then she said, and then the mom said, this is my perspective. And she just showed her daughter having the time of her life. Like we really create these moments that families are going to remember for like the rest of their life. And the show is fun. Like I have 4 kids.
Yeah.
Like my 10-year-old and my 5-year-old still love it. And like, I just love bringing my kids because it's like, and I'm not saying this just because I'm involved, but like they have the best time and I actually enjoy myself as well. Like I've been to a couple other kid shows and it was painful. And like, this is fun.
Fun for the kids, and those ages are perfect, 5
Yeah.
and 10. I know, because I think my 9-year-old would love this stuff. So you mentioned Savage Love.
Yes.
If I woke up without you, I don't know what I would do. Thought I could be single forever till I met you. Usually don't be falling fast. You got a wave keeping me dancing back to back. I just found out the only reason that you're loving me was to get back a bit of trouble, but before you leave,
Usually I would never even care. Baby, I know it's creeping, I feel it in the air.
every night and every day, I try to make you stay, but you're savage love. Did somebody break your heart? Looking like an angel, but you're savage love. When you're singing, I know you don't sing enough, but I still want that, you're savage love.
Samantha, you brought Mini Pops back
Brought it
for
back.
this new generation.
Totally. And it's like, honestly, it is such a blast at our concerts and our shows. And it's like, it's really, it was such a big part of my childhood that I'm so happy that I can give it to other parents in their childhoods as well. I get these really nice messages from parents and they send these like awesome posts on Facebook just saying like, I don't know who had more fun, me or my kids. Because we always put throwback songs in the show as well. For the parents from their childhood as well. Just so it's like there's something for everybody.
No, very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool here.
Yeah.
On the live stream, that song I was trying to sing, it's so tough to be a baby. That's my impression of it. The artist was a little boy named Jordy. This is going back to the early 90s, so 92. But Jordy had this hit, Dur Dur D'etre Baby. That's my French accent for you right there. And I think we've kicked it out on I think maybe Cam Gordon kicked it out on a Pandemic Friday, as I recall. But that was kind of a hit, and I think he was out of France. So, Dur Dur D'etre Baby. Andy had a big crush on the Green Door Kid. Hey, Andy, that was age appropriate for Andy. I just want to let the world know that. Okay.
Oh, I think every little girl did. Andy was not alone.
Andy, you weren't alone there. And a lot of great nostalgia going on here. And I'm having a lot of nostalgia too, playing the old stuff, and now there's new stuff for the next generation. So you got the live event. If somebody wants to buy a ticket for this live event in May, where do you send them?
You just go to minipopkids.com and we have 6 shows left. We were on a 28 city tour of the country, and we have 6 shows left. And so you can just go to minipopkids.com. The shows we have in Ontario, I think our Barrie show's actually sold out. But we still have tickets left for Hamilton and Toronto.
Okay, here we get a little promo going there. Okay, so about your father.
Yes.
When did your father, Philip Kivas, pass away?
He passed away 9 years ago. Yeah.
I am sorry.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, it's always crazy. It's crazy to lose a parent. But I have to say, when the time came, I had no idea what type of impact he had at the world. Like, it was crazy. Like, I was getting calls from press from like all over the world. The New York Times, like, they pick one person to do their featured obituary on every year or every week. They chose my father. NBC Nightly News, they have this program, this segment called Lives Well Lived. They did it on my father. Like, it was it was all over the news, and it wasn't just over the Canadian news. It was over the world news. Like, the Washington Post, like, just, it was crazy, all the publications that were reaching out and having to do interviews at that time. And the craziest part about it is my father would have loved it the most.
Yeah. And your father, so was 87 years.
Yes.
And a lot of national news, because the nostalgia for K-tel is off the charts.
Yeah.
So do you have a title at K-tel right now? Like a business title, or no?
Not really.
Not really.
Like, it's just, we're part of like a team.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, here's my marketing question for you, because I noticed this is the stylization of K-tel.
Yes.
Okay. I have seen it all caps. So K-T-E-L in all caps. I've seen that. I have seen it capital K capital T, then lowercase E-L. I've seen that all over the place. But on the official K-tel website, I see capital K lowercase T E-L. So, Samantha, I need a definitive, what is the proper stylization of K-tel?
As of today, it's capital K, lowercase T-E-L, but you can't forget the hyphen.
Don't forget, so it's capital K hyphen lowercase T-E-L. And that is the way it is on your corporate official website.
Yes.
So I figure when in doubt, go with how you guys are using it. But it is that capital T is all over the place, and the all caps is out there too. So
yes. If you see, I think it went both ways, but if you see a capital T with a lowercase E-L, that's just wrong.
Okay, I'm glad you corrected that. This is for the definitive record. I hope Dave Grohl is listening. So if he ever writes about that Edgar Winter Group song, absolutely. Now, I promise I'd close. This will be kind of fun here. So, because these K-tel infomercials were everywhere, they're so ripe for parody. Right? They're sitting there, these big bombastic super hits. It's totally ripe for parody. So I mentioned FOTM Dave Thomas calls the tree we're going to take a photo by. He calls it Toronto Tree. So let's start with. Oh, okay. I don't know what I pulled here. I pulled 3 significant pop culture institutions that have parodied these K-tel ads. Okay, 3 big ones. I have pulled SCTV. I have pulled Saturday Night Live, and I pulled The Simpsons. Okay, and then I want to ask you about a band led by a fellow FOTM who used to go by the name the K-tel. So we're going to do that. But let's listen to this.
I've got the horse right here. His name is Paul Revere.
Gord Lightfoot, Canada's most incredible singer.
I got married to the widow next door.
K-tel introduces Gord Sings Every Song Ever Written, a remarkable 379 album set complete with music and lyrics, so you can sing along as Gord sings every song ever written. You get Midnight in Moscow, Bits and Pieces, and Happy Birthday! Now, for the first time, a special offer of unreleased Gord Lightfoot versions of some of the great songs of all time.
Good King Wenceslas looked out on the feast.
You get the Soviet national anthem, Polka Time, Jesus Joy of Man's Desiring, and of course, Gord's own 76 trombones.
76 trombones, let the big
Gord Lightfoot, a legend in his own time.
cornets close behind.
Gord Sings Every Song Ever Written, only $4.99. Tape or cassette, $6.99. That's tape or cassette, $6.99. Available everywhere.
So that's Dave Thomas on SCTV. But I would buy that Gordon Lightfoot sings every song ever written by K-tel.
Totally, yeah. And they actually did a documentary on K-tel, which you can find on YouTube, that Dave Thomas voices.
Oh, he could do it in his Bob Hope impression. What a legend he is. Okay, so there's a fun. That's SCTV. You know, that's what an institution that is. But let's go back even further to a big American show.
Yes, fish eaters, the days of troublesome scaling, cutting, and gutting are over. Because Super Bassomatic 76 is the tool that lets you use the whole bass with no fish waste without scaling, cutting, or gutting. Here's how it works. Catch a bass, remove the hook, and drop the bass. That's the whole bass into the Super Bassomatic 76. Now adjust the control dial so that that bass is blended just the way you like it.
So fellow Canadian Dan Aykroyd, Bassomatic on Saturday Night Live.
Yeah, I mean, when you make it to Saturday Night Live, like you've got an impact.
And not just make it, but a memorable skit. Like how many skits have been forgotten to time, but people still remember Bassomatic?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so you got a Saturday Night Live and you got SCTV, and I'm sitting here thinking, oh, there's not much that gets any bigger. What? That's amazing. Like those are two huge comedic institutions parodying your father's company,
Yes.
K-tel. All right. Well, there is another show I love that also kind of parodies it. Let's listen.
Products you could only imagine before. The Foam Dome. The Jet Walker. Mr. Sugar Cube. That baby changed our lives.
I'm actor Troy McClure. You might remember me from such TV series as Buck Henderson, Union Buster, and Troy and Company's Summertime Smile Factory. But I'm here to tell you about Spiffy, the 21st century stain remover. Let's meet the inventor, Dr. Nick Riviera.
Thank you, Troy. Hi, everybody. Hi, Dr. Nick. Troy, I brought with me the gravestone of author and troubled soul Edgar Allan Poe.
One of our best writers.
Yes, but unfortunately, a century of neglect has turned this tombstone into a depressing eyesore.
So what? I guess we're going to have to throw it away.
Not so fast, Troy. With one application of Spiffy, you'll think the body's still warm.
Quoth the Raven, what a shine.
Ooh, that's one clean tombstone.
Hey, Dad, you got a power drill?
In a garage.
Check.
I'm offering 3 bottles, enough to clean 1,000 tombstones, for only $39.95.
I'm afraid you're going to have to do better, Doctor.
Yeah, give us a break, Doctor.
But Troy, how can I make it lower than $39.95?
Find a way.
Hey, Homer, I can't find the safety goggles for the power saw.
Stuff starts flying, just turn your head.
Oh, check.
Okay, I'll throw in a 4th bottle, the applicator glove, and a state of Kansas jello mold, $29.95.
He can't hit that phone fast enough.
Calm down.
Homer, can you get the door? It's my sister's. Homer, be nice.
Okay, I will. Hey, coming over here like, Patty! Delma, what a pleasant surprise.
What do you know? He's wearing pants. I owe you a lunch.
Okay, what a show. Okay, and what a glory period for The Simpsons. Just listening to that in headphones, what a great period. I think Bart's out building his soapbox derby racer, and this is the Father Institute episode. Great episode. But here, I'm going to ask you a question on our way out here before I play one song to finish here. But
okay.
What do the following 3 people? So we heard 3 people basically doing these. So we saw Dave Thomas did the parody for SCTV. Dave Thomas. Dan Aykroyd did that parody for Saturday Night Live, and the key voice doing the is Phil Hartman on The Simpsons. Can you tell me, Samantha? I feel like I'm doing a game show now.
Yes.
What do Dave Thomas, Dan Aykroyd, and Phil Hartman have in common?
I'm assuming they're all Canadian.
They're all Canadian.
Woo-hoo!
Correct. You've earned all this swag you got here today here. And speaking of Canadians, I just wanted to play a song. Art Bergman's an FOTM, and he was with a band called a punk band out of Vancouver. So this band would go on to have the name Young Canadians. This is the Young Canadians. But at the time this song was recorded, they were going by a different name. They were called the K-tels. So this punk band out of Vancouver with Art Bergman, who has the Order of Canada, for goodness sakes, and he's an FOTM, which is even more impressive. They were called the K-tels. I'm sure your dad had his lawyer send a nice letter or something, and they became Young Canadians. Are you aware of the Canadian punk band, the K-tels?
I am not, unfortunately. I'm sorry. But
Well,
this
don't
has been
be
very
sorry.
educational for me as well.
Well, here, we educate each other.
Yeah.
Did you leave anything on the cutting room floor that you wanted to share with everybody?
Well, I mean, no, I think we covered everything. The only thing I was going to say that's kind of cool what we're doing now is that we have this big catalog of music, and you can stream all our music on like Spotify and Apple and Amazon and all that fun stuff. But what you probably don't even realize is that K-tel is even now behind the scenes in a lot of your favorite TV shows and movies that you see.
Well, this is interesting.
Yeah. So like, you know, we licensed a song for Ted Lasso. We had a song in The Queen's Gambit, and some more recent stuff. We had a song in The Last Showgirl and in The Substance that were both Oscar nominated
I saw
films.
both of them.
Yeah. So we're like, K-tel is still like, we might not be in the face anymore, but like all of that music that we have in our catalogs, you're still hearing it in pop culture today in all of these programs and, you know, shows like Stranger Things and just, you know, really cool programs that it's great to be a part of.
So K-tel today, in addition to Mini Pop Kids, which is near and dear to your heart.
Yes.
You've got music licensing going on.
We've got music licensing and we've got music streaming. So
great foresight. Like, did your dad see the internet coming back in the 60s? What's going on?
Like, he loved Apple. Like, I mean, he was really smart. Like, he saw what was going on, so he bought a bunch of Apple stock, which was a good move.
Forrest Gump did the same thing. Do you remember this?
So it's like, yeah, but so we've got this great catalog that's still out there that people can enjoy.
Well, I enjoyed this.
Okay, great.
This was amazing.
I'm so happy.
Nostalgic deep dive. What a Canadian company. We love to support the Canadian companies. K-tel, and the fact that you adapted, you pivoted, you've evolved, and still a going concern in 2025. That warms the cockles of my heart.
Oh my God. Well, thank you so much for having me. This was just such a pleasure.
Remember that Medium T-shirt. Don't forget me
I
when
won't.
that store
Medium,
opens.
K-tel for sure. And
Oh my God.
and we'll get a hat. If we can get the hats, we're going to throw in a hat.
Okay. You're doing it now too. That you're gonna have to do better
I'm
than
gonna
that.
have like a whole.
Throw in a second T-shirt for $29.95. Okay.
Exactly. But
And-
wait, there's more.
Oh yeah, that's Billy Mays, I think, and that brings us to the end of our 1,673rd show, the K-tel episode. That's what I'm going to call it, the K-tel episode.
Love it.
Go to torontomike.com for all your Toronto Mike needs. Much love to all who made this possible. That's Carlo. I threw him in there. Carlo, Great Lakes Brewery, Palma Pasta, Moneris, Silver Wax, RecycleMyElectronics.ca, Building Toronto Skyline, and Ridley Funeral Home. Tomorrow is toast. This is important because that means Rob Pruce from Spoons. Any Spoons on K-tel compilations?
I don't know.
I don't think so. We have to check into that. Who else we got? Bob Willett. He's single-handedly saving radio. See you all 10 o'clock tomorrow, live.torontomike.com.
95.